right. This is my, I think this is take 3. You guys don't get to see the first 2 takes. So I'm working on the pattern for the stocking. We're going to do the first 1 through 13 rows. So this page has the first 4 rows, but hopefully you can just follow it after this. And then if you have questions, we can talk about it tomorrow night. So you're going to do a magic ring, and I did post a video on the magic ring, but basically instead of putting a slip knot, so instead of having this as you're starting, right, you're not going to have any knot at all, okay, but you're going to wrap that tail around your finger. So all I did was, like, normally you hold it like this, just wrap it around that finger, and you need to go underneath that tail. That's the end of the yarn, the tail right there. Go underneath that yarn and pull up a loop, and then chain 1, 2, and I'm actually gonna chain 3 because it's a lot easier to see. Oh my goodness, I don't know what my computer is doing right here. Please hold. Okay, I don't know what was happening with the color on my computer, or the brightness, but I think I got it fixed. I'm hoping. All right, so I chained 3, and what I'm gonna, and I'm still keeping my finger in that loop that we made initially, see, and still holding on to the tail with my thumb. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that chain 3 so that when I come back around, it's a lot easier to see. So I'm just going to put my little stitch marker in the top of that chain 3. Now the pattern calls for a chain 2 at the beginning before the DCs. It doesn't actually say to chain 2 for the magic ring. Normally when you have a double crochet, you can either chain 2 ahead of it or you can chain 3. So I just chose to chain 3 because it's going to be easier to see when I come back around in the magic circle. We'll see how it goes for the other rows, but that's not, that's not a huge deal. Okay, so I'm going to now the first chain, this chain 3 that I made from the magic circle is going to count as the first double crochet. So I'm actually going to do it again for you because I know the light was getting all funky. So let's do it again. So I'm going to start by wrapping the yarn. Instead of making a slip knot, I'm going to wrap it around my finger. Okay. And I'm going to go underneath the yarn tail. That's the tail right down there. So that's the tail. Go underneath. And then I'm going to grab that yarn to work with and kind of just pull it underneath. Okay. And you have to hold on to that tail with your thumb. Now I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to mark the very top of that chain so that when I come back around, I'll know where to join. So now I'm going to do 9 double crochet for a total of 10 stitches. So there's 1, and I will tell you, it is a little awkward to keep that loop around that finger. So just go slow. I always have to go slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, split the yarn there. 7, 8, 9. Okay, so my finger is still in that loop. It even got bigger, which is fine. Doesn't matter because you're fixing to close it up. So I'm going to count and make sure I have 10 total stitches. I'm going to keep my finger in that loop. So here we go. You ready? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And if it's easier to count the loops on the top, which sometimes it is, the V's on the top. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then my beginning chain. So now I can finally take my finger out of that loop, and you see you have your loop with your tail hanging down. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to cinch this closed. So you just pull it, and it just cinches that hole closed, so you get a nice tight, look at that, no hole left for your candy to fall out of when you hang your Christmas stocking. And I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that beginning chain 3. So I'm going to go right in where that marker is and just pull the yarn through all the way through. So that's round 1. Okay, I'm going to leave that stitch marker in there because remember that first chain counts as the first stitch. So the instructions now for round 2 are to chain 2, and then we're going to 2 double crochet in each stitch around for a total of 20. And it is common, this is very common as you're working in a circle, that you're going to get it so big and then you're going to start moving up the circle. So you can see we're increasing by 10s each row. So we start out with 10 in the magic ring, and then we're going to go to 20, and then we're going to go to 30, and then we're going to, by the end of row 4, we're going to have 40 stitches. So we're increasing each round, and this is a common way to increase. So I'm going to go back and do exactly as it says here. We'll see how it looks. So I'm going to do chain 2, and we're going to double crochet in that same stitch as we joined, and you can see where that join happened right there. And that's why I kept my stitch marker there. All right, so that's 2 stitches. That's the chain and then the double crochet I just did. Now I'm going to move that stitch marker up, and this is the top V of the first double crochet right here that's on the hook. This stitch is the top of the chain 2, so that's where I'm going to put my marker because that's where I want to join it next time. All right, so basically we have 2 stitches there now, you can see, and now we're just going to put 2 double crochet in each stitch around. So our next V is right there, so it's going to go, whoop, get in there. I like to pick up both yarns, so that first stitch is always a doozy. Got it? See how I got the V? Okay, so 1, 2. So that's 1 double crochet. So remember, double crochet is yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, and pull it through 2 just to finish it off. So now we have 4 stitches. So I'm going to put 2 more in here because we're putting it 2 in each stitch. So there's 1 double crochet, and I'll post a link for a tutorial for double crochet too with a little bit more professional video footage. And 2. So then you go, I'm going to pause the video and just finish this out, but as long as you have 2, so there's my 1 stitch at the bottom, and I have 2 double crochet in there for a total of 20. So I'll meet you guys back here in a second. Okay, so, and you can see how it's starting to kind of curl a little bit. That's kind of what you want it to do. But let's see if I have 20, because that's what the instructions say. We should finish up with 20. And remember that 20 includes this chain 2 in the beginning, right? So we're going to count the V's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and there's the top of the chain 2. So we wound up just right. So now we're just going to slip stitch that to that beginning, the top of that beginning chain. So I'm just going to insert my hook right next to that stitch marker and grab the yarn and pull it all the way through, and that gives it a nice join, if you can see that. So that's round 2. Now as you work, you may notice your little loop opening up. If that's the case, just cinch it back up until it's closed. And when you weave in that tail, it won't open anymore. Okay, so on to round 3. So now round 3, we're going to increase to 30. So the first thing, we're going to again start with a chain 2. And in this one, when we did the chain 2, we turned around and did a double crochet in that same stitch that chain 2 was in, which is the joining stitch, which is right here where that marker still is. But this time we're going to chain 2, and we're going to DC, double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to go to DC in the next one. And so this is common where they'll put a little asterisk here, so how to read a pattern, and it says repeat from asterisk around. So this right here is our repeat. So we're going to basically 1 double crochet in 1 stitch, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochet, and 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochet, all the way around until we have 30. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Now, normally when patterns are written, and we're going to see how this works out, since this is alternating, normally when I chain 2 to begin, I would double crochet right back in that same stitch, and then start the 1 and the 2 and the 1 and the 2 and the 1 and the 2. So let's see how it would work out, and you can kind of anticipate this by just counting. So if I do, so this is my starting chain, so if I just do a chain 2 here, this would be my first stitch. So that would be 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay, and then you wind up with you actually wouldn't crochet right there, so I am correct. So let me get my little handy dandy pen. So this is going to be, and we'll see how it works out. This is going to be a chain 2, and then oops, that's round, we want it in round 3. So chain 2, and then double crochet in same stitch, and then we're going to start our repeat, which will be this. Okay, so let's see how that works out. And sometimes, I mean, This is part of just the experience and ripping out and stuff. You know how many you're supposed to end up with, so the key is just to end up with that many. And if it's a little wonky, that's fine. Who's going to know, right? So we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to double crochet right back in that same stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to move my stitch marker, and I'm not putting it in that first top V that's right next, because that's my first double crochet. I'm actually putting it in the top of the chain right next to it. And this is why stitch markers are so cool. All right, so now we're going to start our pattern of 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. So, and notice that when you have a chain, see how wonky that first V is? You have to, because you're pulling up on it. So make sure that that is your first V right there. So it does look a little wonky, so just kind of watch that. So grab both of those. So that's a single or 1 double crochet in that stitch. And then we'll do 2 double crochets in the next one. 1, 2, and then 1 again, and then 2 in the next stitch. This thing's having a little hard time focusing, because I'm going to move that writing out of the way so it stops focusing on it, and see if that helps. So it doesn't really have anything else to focus on. 2. Okay, so here you'll be able to see, so there's 2 in that stitch, including the first chain stitch. There's 1 in that stitch. There's 2 in that stitch. There's 1 in that stitch. And there's 2 in that stitch. So you can just pull that apart. You can see it really easy there. Okay, I'm going to walk around and meet you guys at the end. Okay, I'm getting towards the end of the row here. So I've got 29 stitches, and we'll count everything in a minute. So I'm going to do, I've got 1 more stitch here, so this will be 30. And I kind of figured out that if you don't do a double crochet, 2 stitches in your first one, and you do it in the last one, again, it doesn't matter as long as you end up with 30, right? So let's count these stitches. So I'm going to count the V's. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 at the top of the chain 2. So we're right on. Perfect. So now we're just going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first chain 2 where that marker is. So just going to slide in there, grab the yarn, and pull it through. Okay, so that's the end of round 3. So let's kind of digest these rounds a little bit, okay? So round 4, you're going to chain 2. Then according to this, you're going to DC in the next 2 stitches. Now there's a difference between double crochet in the next 2 stitches and double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so this is sometimes where I can confuse myself. So the first part of this, in front of the first part of the asterisk area, is going to be, you're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that means a single crochet in basically this stitch and a single crochet in this stitch, and then you're going to 2 DC in the next stitch. So you're going to 2 DC double crochet here. So basically it's a pattern of 3s. So 2 stitches and then the 3rd stitch. So you're going to go, for every pattern of 3, and this is your first double crochet, so for every pattern of 3 you're going to go double crochet, 2 double crochet. Hello kitty. Then your next 3 you're going to do double crochet, 2 double crochet, right? And so on like that. And then round 5 is 5 and the rest through 13. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to have one more row of increase, which is row 5, see, because it goes from 40 to 44. And then the 6 through the 13, you don't increase at all. You stay at the 44 that round 5 was. So that just means you're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Okay, so this one, to increase by 4 in round 5, you're going to double crochet in 9 stitches and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and that's your repeat from the asterisk. So that's a total of 10 stitches. So if this was round, if we were beginning round 5, okay, you would do a single double crochet in the first 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you would do a double crochet in this one. The cat is eating my flowers that my daughter bought me. Stop, kitty. Okay. Then you would do a single crochet in the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, not a single crochet, lied. You will do 1 double crochet in the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 double crochet in the 10th stitch. But either way, even if you mess up a little bit, you want to end up with 44 stitches. Okay, then rows 6 through 13, and you're going to have to keep track. And usually what I do is I write off to the side here 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. And as I get done with them, I start doing this, right? So I can keep track of where I'm at. So you're just going to begin the row, each of these rows, of all of these rows, you're going to begin with a chain 2, and then you're just going to single crochet, do 1 single double crochet, do 1 double crochet in each of the stitches. 1, 2, all the way around. So each row is going to have 44 stitches. And I will tell you that with these kind of patterns, be a little OCD and count at the end of each row. That way, if you have to frog, you only have to frog 1 row or just a few stitches. If you get to the very end of a row before you slip stitch it to join and you're at 43 for some reason, don't frog that, just add 1 more double crochet, right? Just make it up at the end. So just make sure you have 44 stitches or 44 double crochet, including, and always remember that chain 2 at the beginning of the row counts as your first double crochet. And that's it. That's all you need to do for this week. All right. See you guys tomorrow. I'll post an event for tomorrow in the Facebook page so that we can get together, and I'll probably put something out on the chat to see who can join me. Talk to you later. Bye.